The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Doyle, is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you and Chairman Waxman for so strongly supporting H.R. 1147. This legislation will bring communities across the country access to their airwaves, and I'm very proud of the support that this bill has from both sides of the aisle, including the bill's lead co-sponsor and my good friend Lee Terry. I appreciate the words we just heard from Mr. Walden, too, and from many other members of this subcommittee that have supported us. Through the creation of LPFM, the Federal Communication Commission sought to create opportunities for new voices on the airwaves and to allow local groups, including schools, churches, and other community-based organizations, to provide programming responsive to the local community needs and interests. When Congress passed the Radio Broadcasting Preservation Act in 2000, many of those organizations were prevented from communicating to their members, supporters, and residents on the FM dial by what were known as third adjacent protections. Basically, a low-power station had to be more than 3 clicks of the dial on both sides away from a bigger broadcaster. The bill was enacted because some incumbent broadcasters worried about the interference that new low-power FM stations might cause that would harm radio listeners across the dial. But thanks to the work of my good friend Chairman Dingell and others, Congress at that time also wisely mandated that an outside study be conducted to evaluate those claims. And Congress demanded that the FCC, our expert agency over the public's airways, review that outside study, analyze its impact on listeners and incumbent radio broadcasters, and then vote on its conclusions and recommend to us if we should reduce the impact of or eliminate the impact altogether, the impact of that law. On a unanimous bipartisan basis, the FCC issued a report to Congress on February 19, 2004 that stated, Congress should readdress this issue and modify the statute to eliminate the third adjacent channel distance separation requirement for LPFM stations. For a second time on November 27, 2007, and for a third time once again last month, September 17, 2009, right before this very subcommittee, all 5 commissioners agree that Congress should lift the restrictions on LPFM stations and allow the FCC to license new stations in more communities. Where they're allowed to exist under current law, LPFM stations have proven to be a vital source of information during local or national emergencies, and these stations promote the arts and education from religious organizations, community groups, organizations promoting literacy, and many other civically oriented organizations. But we have to act on the Commission's recommendations. Otherwise, these stations are prevented from operating, and communities across America, communities like mine, which are too large to have any slots for new LPFM stations at the 4th adjacent, but could fit several at the 3rd. The time has come for Congress to rewrite this law. The time has come to make the airwaves available to the people they serve. The time has come to bring low power to the people. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you very much for your support of this legislation and for including it in this markup today. I yield back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doyle, and thank you for your fine work on this measure.